Yeah, I used to, years ago, I had a couple of pals, yeah. My mate, a guy called Johnny Lawrence, yeah. He used to own Central Park Wine Bar, yeah. You know, where I used to work. But before that, John owned a car front down Conningham Road. It used to be owned by a guy called Dominic McCoy. Dominic McCoy used to be number one, the number one bouncer at Lucky's in Ealing Broadway. Yeah, Dominic can have a right route. You know, people think he's very clean. You know, looks. No, he couldn't eat, but he's proper taekwondo, karate, everything. He's a bit near the mark. You don't want to muck about just by looking at him, good looks and all that. Think he's no one. He can have a right fight, yeah. And he ruled everybody in at Lucky's. He was the number one anyway. So he owned a car front and he sold it to Johnny Lawrence, yeah. Before Johnny Lawrence had the Central Park Wine Bar. Well, Johnny Lawrence, proper guy, yeah. He got done for a load of puff, yeah. And I think he got 12 years or something like that, John. But he was active, always earning money, good money getter, yeah. And he had a car front at the end of Conningham Road in Shepherd's Bush, Goldhook Road side, yeah. So anyway, one day, I'll go down there, you know, I've got a phone call saying, but pop down and like, see us right on the chat, yeah. Because I used to do a little bit of enforce work for them, go collect their debts and all that. So I went down and he said, you know Matty Howard? I said, of course I know Matty Howard. I said, and Dominic McCoy's, all Barney's, all them, they all grew up together. But Barney's mates more than anything, Barney McCoy's friends, yeah. He said, well, he came over the other day and I'm a bit thing about it, right? You know what I mean? You know how Matty is. I says, yeah, he's a Matty was like young, very young then, but a good money getter. A good money getter, Matty then. But sold a few lies here and there, you know what I mean? But you could get a partner. So I walked across the road and knocked Matty Howard's window, yeah, because he was on the ground floor. Knocked his window and he come out, what's up? I said, let's go and chat. So I went walking down the road with him. He said, what's upstairs? He said, oh, I told John it's old Bill. I said, what do you mean? He said, oh, the old Bill, I seen him come up the cameras the other day and all sorts of things, late in the morning, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, mate. He said, you know what I like? He said, I like a bit of snozzle, I'm up, you know, and I'm a bit paranoid when I see him all walking in. I said, well then, he said, they're upstairs. He said, come on, we'll go back to my place. Went back to this place, sitting down. He could hear him moving about upstairs, yeah? So come out of there, walked over to Johnny Lawrence. I said, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to crash the door and find out what they're up to? You know, he said, leave off. I said, do you want me to crash the door and see what they're up to? He went, no. He said, go on in, quick. He said, I'll give you a few bob, yeah? Go on in. So I went through Matty's upstairs and I knocked the door and it went quiet. Not one person come to the door, yeah? I went crash. I hit it with my arse and banged the door open, yeah? As I did, it's full. When I say full, there must have been 8 old Bill in there, yeah? But you knew there was, they didn't have old Bill uniforms on or nothing. There was all that cameras and bits and pieces like that. And it was looking directly at Johnny Lawrence's car front in Conningham Road, yeah? So I said, what are you playing at, mate? What's all this going? What's all this about? What are you coming up for? Where are you looking? What's happening? Do you know what I mean? Well, this is out of order, mate. Get out. He said, we're police officers. I said, I don't give a fuck who you are. And I went, yeah? I went within half an hour, right? You see him all coming down. He come down here with the cameras, the bits and pieces. He's saying the other one. So John gave me a right few bob. About, I don't know, must have been, I don't know, 6, 7 months after that, maybe. Johnny Lawrence bought Central Park Wine Bar, yeah, and you know I started working there and all that, this, that, and the other bit. It goes on for a long time with me and Johnny Lawrence's act down the car front, yeah. But I got a job with Johnny Lawrence, not a job. Well, he gave me a job, but he owned the place, yeah, with my mate Will Wills. And Johnny Lawrence, which I never knew, was involved big time with the puff, yeah. So anyway, he gets nicked around his bird's house, and my mate Will was driving around to see him, and he got nicked with him, yeah. I think Will got a 12, and Johnny Lawrence got a 10, or vice versa, yeah. So Johnny Lawrence, the whole people knew that he was right at it, you know, and they was watching him across the road. Yeah, mate, and you know, my mate Dominic, he phoned me up last night. Well, he didn't phone me. He sent me messages, yeah, about, you know, this or that, the other, and telling me about that. But what I'm going to do on my thumbnail, I'm going to put a picture of Dominic McCoy. That's the car front that I was at. That I had to go across the road. That's the car front. You see Dominic McCoy. I think he's leaning on his roller. He had it really good, John. He was only good with money, mate. He was like proper, you know. He had luckies in there. You know what I mean? He was, but not only did he have luckies. He got me when I was at Lucky's. Yeah, I got a job working for King Fahd down Hamgate, Richmond, and it was Dominic McCoy. Dominic McCoy is always there, and he was the one who got the guy to talk to me, yeah. And as I say, I got the job at King Fahd, but Dominic was in charge there as well, yeah. Dominic run about 8 or 9 people. I used to, you know, go and see the dog and walk around the green and make sure that all the shakes and shackers are okay. You know, when they come in and when they go out, make sure they're okay. And it used to get a lot of guys in there that are like special forces, you know, for the Queen and all that, all gunned up and all that, you know. And yeah, there was quite a few of them in there. But yeah, I had a good job in there, mate. I had a good job, but I mucked it up playing pennies up the wall with the shakers, you know. And was it shakers? I get mixed up with them, you know, these two. But yeah, I was playing pennies up the wall, and they don't gamble. And I wound up nicking their watches, proper nice watches. And then the housemaid, she was in charge, and she got to find out about it, and they give me the sack. But it was such a good job. I mean, Dominic, he must have been getting £1,500 a week then, a retainer, for the rest of his life. I don't know if he still gets that money, but working for King Fahd and it's a retainer, you got that money whenever, you know. But he was getting £1,500 a week. I was getting £800 a week, yeah. But it was such a good job, mate. I was, I ruined that job. And I only lived around the corner, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a shame. But Don McCoy, he's a proper, mate. He's a proper guy. A lot of people know him who went to Lucky's. A lot of people know him who come from Ealing, around that area, yeah. Hey, bang, bang, wow, good morning, yeah, nice one.